Hey everybody, Adam Teruska, Adam Teruska Videos. We're in Texas City, Texas, and we're going to head over to the Texas City Museum. I've never been there before. It's going to be a first time for me. It may very well be a first time for you. Maybe somebody who's watching has been there before. I'm not sure. Understand that there's a lot to cover there. There'll be a lot to see, and I'm really looking forward to it. So, come with me, and let's share in on the new adventure coming up at the Texas City Museum, 6th Street in Texas City. I'm in front of the museum now, and among the things it's going to show us is, on this display here, the April 16th, 1947 Texas City disaster. You'll be able to explore the culture, history, industry of Texas City. And here we have this huge anchor. It's of the SSVA Fog. It was lost at sea in February of 1972. A piece of history right there. And over here we have the Street of Memories. Back up a little bit so you can see the whole plaque. And here's the museum. Beautiful building. And for my fellow railroader fans, there's the Galveston County Model Railroad Club here. And we have the Big Gun, Texas City, the USS Westfield, and the Dahlgren Cannon. Let's go inside and see what we have going on. Okay, we're now inside the museum, and we're starting off on the left side of the entranceway. It's $7 to get in. Very reasonably priced. And they start off with a photo display of some of the different parts of Texas City. You got the refineries, you got the dike, you got the lighthouse here, I believe that is. Beautiful old train. The overview of the city. Look at that picture of that sunset, huh? And here we have a model of a single-cylinder horizontal steam engine. Gift shop items available. Probably my next book I'll be purchasing. Postcards, magnets. Cool little selection of train stuff. Here's some information on the Westfield's boiler system, the internal workings. And over here we have a reconstruction of the port side boiler of the Westfield. This exhibit is a reconstruction of the Westfield's portside boiler. The reconstruction displays the first 5 feet outlined in red of what was once a 24-foot boiler. The left gray half of the exhibit portrays how the boiler originally prepared before its destruction. The right half is constructed from actual boiler pieces excavated from the Westfield's wreck site. Please take note of how the artifacts are bent and twisted in the Westfield's explosion. Westfield's boilers were originally placed a few feet above the keel, just forward of the midships center of the ship. Since the boilers shared a single smokestack, this reconstruction includes only half the stack. This is a semicircular portion that can be seen above the main part of the boiler on the upper right-hand side, as per the placard. You can see the explosion from the Westfield was quite severe. And according to this, the Westfield boilers were constructed using wrought iron sheets that were lap riveted together. When the boilers heated up during use, these plates expanded. An internal web of stabilizing devices prevented these plates from overexpanding and rupturing. These devices included hundreds of stay-bolts and crowfeet fasteners that crisscross the boilers in all directions. After nearly 150 years underwater, the thin wrought iron sheets corroded away, causing the boilers to collapse onto the seafloor. Most of what survived consisted of stabilizing devices and riveted bands from where the boiler sheets once joined. These artifacts make up the majority of this reconstruction. Riveted bands show the edges of the former boiler sheets and approximately how they were arranged. Crowfeet fasteners at the rounded top of the boiler crisscross each other, securing the roof of the structure to the lower chimney flue and to the flat front of the facade. The same devices can be seen passing between the fire tubes joining the roof and the lower furnace to the chimney flue above it. Small stay bolts join the outer water jacket in the inner furnace. Looking up to the smokestack section, massive stay bolts can be seen securing the outer steam drum in the inner stack. Here we got various little artifacts that they've found over the years.
Oh, I see. I got you. September 3rd. 9:30 to. I tried to park on bridge today. It was okay.
Unidentified artifacts, or what they call archaeological mysteries.
It was okay. Of course, I was kind of late, and it was not like it would be early. Toward
Got a wooden dowel, an iron artifact, lead sheet, iron cover.
Thank you. I'm gonna get 2 seniors.
Very cool. Over here we got grape shot and reconstruction iron. We got a 9-inch shell cut in half. That's neat. The fuses for the shells. Canister shot. That's what it would look like when it's all put together, and it starts coming apart when it's shot out. And some of the plating.
Now, do you know all the answers to everything?
Called Armored Bulwarks and Dalg.
There's a train swap. Yeah, but there's, is it like,
And here's
oh, okay. It's in Galveston now. Okay. Oh, okay. I was just curious because I remember there was something there and then
here's one of the cannonballs that they would use and fire in this thing. I'd say I do a little damage. Beautiful painting of the CSS Bayou City ramming and capturing the USS Harriet Lane during the Battle of Galveston in 1863. Here's some more artifacts. Got a 9-inch shell. Fuses with inserts, tabs, and wicks. There's a knife with a handle. An ordnance plug. A wooden box fragment. I got a gun sight cover, a gun tackle eye bolt, another 9-inch shell, and cap square iron plate. This is an engine cylinder and condenser. That was recreated. And over here, we have an air pump, hot well, and boiler feed pump. Take note of this. Look how the metal's bent. That was twisted up when the Westfield went down. Over there as well. As I understand, these are actual pieces of the Westfield itself that was used for these displays. Amazingly intact for being underwater for 150 years. Very impressive. Here's a model of the French ship, the Soleil Royal. A French 104 gun ship of the line, flagship of the Admiral Tourville from 1669. It's a beautiful model. Whoever did this had a lot of detail in it. There's a you talk about James Campbell. I'll scroll down slowly. You can always pause the video to read. Second part of the story on the other side here. Very interesting. Okay, I'll be right back. Carrying on in our tour of the Texas City Museum, we have a little bit of dating and historical moments. Henry Wilcox and his family. Texas City's first lighthouse. USS Westfield. I was showing you some of the fragments of the boilers from the ship. Before it was called Texas City, they called this place Shoal Point. You can read it and see the picture. Sorry about that. There's some more pictures.
After the war, Texas City's population grew from 5 to 18,000, due primarily to the expansion of the industry.
There's a thing going on the other side of the museum for me.
At one year, the SS High Flyer, and at another separated by 500 feet of warehouses, the French freighter SS Grand Camp. Workers that morning with what smoke coming from the hold of the Grand Camp, where the sacks of fertilizer are packed tightly together. They are not aware that under 50 conditions, ammonia nitrate production.
This is a little thing about pre-1893. Go slow so you can read it. I'm sorry for the shakiness. I'm just trying not to drop my phone. We got some of the arrowheads from the Indians. The Karankawa archers.
Before 8:30 a.m., 27 volunteers of the Texas City Fire Department arrived
Pieces of some of the pottery that they made. I'm trying to get out of the light for you so you can see better.
and takes the photos seen here of the firemen in action. They will be the last photos ever taken of these brave volunteers. By 8:35, it is apparent that the fire is out of
Texas City lots,
The crew is ordered to
price
abandon the
lists.
ship. Although the 2,300 tons of ammonium nitrate aboard the burning ship causes little apprehension, there is some concern that a shipment of small arms ammunition in the cargo may explode.
Some pictures
Spectators attracted by the
of the early days of the town.
pour into the waterfront area. At 8:50, a homemaker and amateur movie maker, Mrs. Fred Mappenberger, with her 8mm camera, begins filming the burning ship and the industrial area. Shortly after 9, Mrs. Mappenberger, searching for a better vantage point, drives over to the Texas City dike for an unobstructed view across the water of the burning Grand Camp. The time is 9:12.
Some railroad in the town. It's a very cool looking lantern. Even irons, the clothespins.
Only seconds apart, go off with the force of the Nagasaki atomic bomb. The first explosion has hurled the Grand Camp's nitrate high in the air over the ship, where it has exploded in even more devastating blasts, smashing everything below and rocking the Gulf Coast for 150 miles, with the force of the explosion being detected as far away as Denver.
Colonel Hugh B. Moore.
Explosion in Texas City, all 27 volunteer firemen were killed instantly, along with many of the spectators. The Monsanto plant is leveled. Inside, 227
pictures here. We have. Across the way, we have more geography stuff here.
After the war, Texas City's population grew from 5 to 18,000, due primarily to the expansion of big industry. On the morning of April 16th, there are two ships taking on cargo of fertilizer, ammonium nitrate. At one pier, the SSI Flyer, and at another, separated by 500 feet of warehouses, the French freighter SS Grand Cannes. Workers at once report smoke coming from the hold of the Grand Cannes, where the sacks of fertilizer are packed tightly together. They are not aware that under certain conditions, ammonium nitrate is a volatile substance. In an interview conducted several years later, the main boss of the longshore and in charge of unloading the Grand Cannes gave the city
As we head into this room in here, we see a bunch of artifacts. Looks like everything from dog tags. Maybe it looks like a razor from back in the day of some sorts. I'm not exactly sure. Some different type of buckles. Some more items here. They don't have anything listing what they are. And I'm not sure I want to venture to guess, but it looks like bullets. Those are definitely bullets. Shell casings, a horseshoe, a nail, Something there. Okay, so that's bullets there. Got some more pictures here. View of Texas City. Panoramic shot, I guess you'd call it. Is it a military with a horse doing some kind of a procedure of some sort? I'm not sure what. This is a Navy RBC-1 receiver unit built by RCA in 1941. Les Somerville, 35 years of Navy service, donated it. That was very nice. Looks like the 6th Cavalry Camp is what we have here. Nice panoramic. And then there's more of the cavalry here. Oh, it's the 6th Cavalry White Horse Band is what that is. Very interesting. Members of the 6th Cavalry, looks like. And these are artifacts found at the site of the old army camp. Looks like possibly buttons or coins of some sort. I'm not sure what that stuff is. Very cool nevertheless. Got some buckles and buttons here. And we have a mannequin of one of the nurses, Helen Edmonds Moore. She was a Red Cross civilian defense volunteer. Some more pictures here.
All these army chants is amazing. Here we have the servicemen from Texas City killed in World War II. God bless them. I'll go down slow so you can read it. You can always pause it if need be.
1921 and 1944, Lieutenant H.V. Wagoner, Jr., 23 years old. A photo of the planes. In-cab shot. Pilot's deck. Check out this old chest, huh? And you got pictures of people from the town there. Looks like a officer in the military. I believe one of the town founders' families. I forget the name. I'm sorry about that. Here's what some of the port area looked like back in the day. Picture of the big crane. See the engineers and the train there. Some destruction from, I believe, the 1947 disaster. More of the prominent families who came to Texas City and helped start the city up. I believe that may be the bunkers I did my previous video on, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. They could be from on here, Galveston. So they may be Port of Bolivar, excuse me. Victorian home. A lot of old pictures. In fact, this museum, among many other buildings, have been repurposed into different uses. Now let's go back over in this cell here. See what we have going on here. We got the 1st Aero Squadron. The Wright brothers actually trained the pilots. Interesting. Okay. There's a rundown on the 1st Aero Squadron. I'm going down slow for you so you can read it. Again, pause is necessary.
They got the pictures down real low. It's very hard for me to bend over to get everything for you guys, but I'm doing the best I can, and I hope you guys can see the stuff. That's the camp of the 2nd Division. It's gonna fall over, I know it. So. You can see ammo belt. Their tent stakes, buttons, belt buckles, belt focus. This is stuff that they found at the now abandoned camp area, apparently. Some of the stuff people kept and donated to the museum or have it on loan. Some of the stuff was artifacts they dug up. The lower picture is a photo of the Sunday afternoon services at the U.S. Army camp at Texas City. This picture was taken on April 13th, 1913. And the upper picture is the 2nd Division mobilization camp in 1914. Nice panoramic. This is a foot locker for the soldiers. You got someone's letter. You got a World War I uniform. And this uniform belonged to W.R. Blocker from World War I. And their pennant for the 1st Aero Squadron. Very nice. Okay. We're now in the industrial age here for Texas City. I'll pan down slowly so you can read it. You can always pause it as always. I'll show you some of the images they have here. They have pictures of the Harper Hotel, sugar refining plant. This looks like a cross between a bus, a trolley, and a train here. I believe that building is still up. The Board of Trade. I believe that building is still up. I think that's on 6th and 9th Avenue. There are some changes, but the buildings, I believe, are still up, at least the vast majority of them. The first basketball team of Texas City had males and females in it. Moving on, we have the industrial expansion continuing here. Helen B. Moore, Texas City gained control of the dike through her efforts. Texas City gained control of the dike, I should say. You can read those as I'm checking out the pictures. And then we have the industrial expansion. A little bit there about Frank Bell. Donated land for Carver Park along with his partners and a church. I'm going to save one picture for last in particular, because it's that, for my situation, being a former Pennsylvanian, is actually kind of laughable. In 1937, they had a motorcycle cop, or as the CBs will call, an Evel Knievel. Now, this isn't funny, but this is the 1939 flood of Texas Avenue in Texas City, which is not far from here at all. Now, you ready for this one, folks? This one will make you laugh. Yes, they do get snow in Texas on occasion. Two-inch snowfall, heaviest since 1895. Picture taken by W.A. Barber, January 22nd, 1940, Texas Avenue, between 5th and 6th Street, Texas City. Now I get it, Texas isn't accustomed to snow. 2 inches of snow, we could still golf. You can still find your golf ball. Here's some more artifacts. You got a penmanship notebook right there. The blue thing here is a woman's bathing suit from 1923, made in Galveston, Texas, right across the bay. Interesting. There's a model of an airplane that was designed by Jimmy Wendell. And it looks like a hero card of some sorts of Wendell. Sugar bag from the 20s and 30s. That pot there was part of the sugar making process. Baseball from the Texas City Softball Association. You got a fireman's hat from the 30s or 40s. Looks like a high school yearbook or something. Yep. School yearbook. Interesting. Now we get to a very tragic part of the tour here. The Texas City disaster, the Grand Camp, was loaded with ammonium nitrate fertilizer. It caught fire, and as you can see, some of the catastrophic damage it did. But here's an official reading on it. Texas City disaster. I'll pan it down slow. I'm probably about 5 blocks away from where the actual disaster site was. And here you can see a picture of the postcard of the Texas City disaster, April 16th, 1947. Storage tanks burning after the explosion of the grain camp. And this is a postcard showing the ruins of Texas City. Let me see if I can get back down here again. The SS High Flyer. I'm sorry about the bouncing, guys. I really am. Amazing. They don't know if the damage to the High Flyer was what damage is from the its own explosion, which one was from the grain camp. Here's some pictures of the destruction and devastation. That anchor looks suspiciously similar to the one that's out front. I wonder if it's the same. Just unbelievable. Look at the destruction here. Cars tossed around like toys. I believe in that shot there, they were looking for bodies or survivors. Looks like a ship that was docked up was also destroyed. About 600 people died, 5,000 people injured. Of these 19 people here who worked at the freight office for Texas City Terminal Railway, 4 of them lost their lives in the explosion. Very sad. A car garage was used as a morgue. And here's a quick rundown on the see some of the paperwork that they had. Cartoon carried from the newspaper. A pair of glasses. Picture of somebody hauling an injured person away. Doctor and a nurse taking care of a patient. There's a shootout to the explosion. We have test tubes containing different samples of motor oil. Salesmen for petroleum companies would carry these samples in these carry boxes and take to show potential clients. Amazing how oil price advertisements have gone, huh? There's some pamphlets and stuff like that. And a lot of this stuff was built after the disaster in 1947. Showboat Theater opened up in 1949. J.C. Penney's building right here. Which today is the building we're actually in right now. Today it's the Texas City Museum. It was originally J.C. Penney's. The Booker T. Washington Elementary School staff. Pan it down slowly so you can read it all. Charles Brown. Sang blues music and was pretty successful up to the 60s, and then reinvigorated his career with the help of Bonnie Raitt. Interesting. Looks like a high school band. There's something going on here. We got expansion is Texas City. Little story on Harm Bates Whoopi Williams. Okay, so he rolled a steel hoop from Texas City to New York City to get into the Guinness Book of World Records. His record still holds today. This is a replica of his hoop, Irma. In the 60s, they used a roller. Texas City, Texas to New York City. Amazing what people would do to get money back in the day. Charles Brown, blues musician. That's quite the outfit, huh? Some of his CDs. Silver record. Or that platinum? Maybe platinum. Yep, platinum. He went platinum. My bad. The cornerstone from Texas City's first city hall. Looks like the City Hall building survived pretty well intact. I think it's great that they saved these things. 2 medallions from the 1914 Texas City Guarantee Bank. Amazing how that building's still around. Yeah, whose outfit is this? Oh. The mannequin Charles Brown. Quite dapper, huh? Some of the, it's like sports memorabilia. Yeah, Texas City Independent School District. (1961) Texas City High School graduating class. B1 District Champions, 1994. The 1997 championship team, the 99 championship team. And here's a bunch of high school yearbooks for Texas City High School. Yeah, this looks like a kids section here. Yeah, it's a kids section. There's a great mural of the one of the refineries. And if you look here, 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 and here, that's all flame coming out of the pipes. I believe that's a burn off stuff like methane and stuff like that. Here's a replica of the London Trader. Quite a cool model. Yeah, I do models myself, but I don't have that kind of patience. And this is more of a for the youngins here, for kids to check out stuff. But nevertheless, it is still pretty cool. I believe there's an upstairs, and we're going to go up there now. Okay, we're now in the upper level of the museum, and there are a number of different pictures here from the Texas City Terminal Railway Company. And we have a collage of pictures. Gives you a little bit of a perspective there of Texas City. How are we doing today?
How are you?
Good, thank you. Nice picture of the Santa Fe. Now there is a train section in here, but unfortunately they're not open today. This part, I think it's only open on Saturdays. But there's like a little setup here. Not sure exactly. I think it's for getting tickets for the train, I think. Don't quote me on that. Oh, you can actually go inside of it. Yeah, this is I guess it's a railroad office. Sorry about the finger being in the, yeah, all your paperwork. Got a nice little map there, a lantern, stamp holder. Looks like you can do a telegram. Nice little sign, nice lantern, coal stove, classic old telephone. Classic telephone there. That's cool. Parcel checking service, hand bagging and packages checked at the baggage room. Nice old trunk and a replica of a lantern. Very cool. And it just basically has like pictures of just satellite here. Oh, the old Oklahoma Hotel. There's a gray building on the right. And here's a map of Texas City back in the day. Like prominent buildings that were in the town. I can't do anything about the lighting with the way the lighting is. I'm trying my best to stay out of it so you guys can see this stuff. If you miss anything or if I shadow it over, I'm sorry. Okay. That should give you an idea of that canvas painting that I just showed you. Here's another look at it. Unknown artist. Yes, that is a train. It appears we might have some more trains right down here. And guess what I got over here for you? We got a train layout. Yeah, look at this. We move the tripod over as I show you a walk around of the entire thing here. You got your animals, you got your buildings here. Nice little train set. Makes me jealous. I wish mine was this nice. Of course, I don't even have mine set up yet because we're trying to get the apartment taken care of. And I can't do a full walk around on it, but I can take you over to the other side and show you that as well. And then I'm going to put the phone in the tripod and we're going to run it. We can get a military base over here. A couple of planes. Got another train right here. It goes off over there. Now if we push the buttons, let's see if she'll run. Let's give it a go. Oh, we had a derail. It derailed. I'll have to let them know downstairs. That is a shame. The train derailed. Not good. Just gonna see if there's any more buttons. Unfortunately, we do not have any other trains that are operating on this, so I'll pull you back off the stand here and we'll look and see what else is here. Okay, we have some other railroad specific items. We have a Missouri Pacific kerosene can. There was an oil can there, but somebody took the oil can. I guess this must be the oil can. Never mind. We got a lantern and an oil can for the steam engine. Up here is a switch stand with lights. That is so cool. I would love to have that to go with my lantern that I have, which is converted into a lamp. Use it in my living room to this day. There's another lantern. White Missouri Pacific lantern. You have a brass bell from the Texas City Terminal Railway, engine number 27. It was in service from 1925 to 1954. Very cool. A RIP Pacific, Missouri Pacific lantern. Red indicated stop. And the white means that there was a train at the flag station that were on its schedule or for other special instructions. Okay. Here's some more of the trains that are in use today. Texas City Terminal Railway Company, number 37. Some of the tankers here. We got some old tools here. We got a 1949 Missouri Pacific Railroad shovel, some wrenches, a rail jack, railroad spikes. I got some in my collection, and even a set of tongs. And then here's some more railroad equipment here. And here's some of the trunks from the olden days. Non-stop trains would use these flimsy poles so that they could grab the mail on trains that were still going and not stopping. Okay. That looks like everything on this tour for right now. Let me get ready for the outro. We have a pocket watch right here. Note the time on that watch. 9:12. That's when the explosion happened on the Grand Camp. Grieving widows. Patient getting loaded into an ambulance. There was a mass grave. This is a model of the SS Byron Darnton. This gives a story of the SS Byron Darnton. And over here it looks like a piece of the ship. Get away from it a little bit so you can see it better. They don't know what ship it's from. It's from one of the ships that exploded on April 16th, 1947. So it's either the Bandcamp or the High Flyer, that piece right there. Here's a overview, pictures of people working at the disaster site. And we do the up-close reading, of course. I'll go down nice and slow. There we go, you can see the whole thing in one shot. The Red Cross was bringing rescuers lunch, and they were taking a lunch break in this picture here. Four hours before the explosion, that baby was born. Pam Wilson. That's her mother holding her as a baby. Pam Wilson, the baby, became known as the Blast Baby. And they both survived the explosions, thankfully. Roy Rogers and Phil Harris are exiting an airplane for the Texas City disaster benefit. Salvation Army helped out immensely after the explosion. And this is W.H. Sandberg, all bandaged up. He's got a cigar in his mouth. He's got his hat on. He's another survivor of the explosions. You have a wallet that was found, a bracelet, a straight edge razor, and a penknife. They were all owned by victims of the disaster here. There's some more scenes. Red Cross coming in, lumber coming in to help rebuild on this picture here. People at the rescue site still. Looks like they're putting up telephone poles and redoing the wiring. Making a sign for drinking water. Actually put it on there. A 1951 Reader's Digest. A bulldozer. Army ambulance. Damage to the First State Bank. Looks like a reporter and a police officer in front of a destroyed building. Lumber coming in for rebuilding. An old clock. Oh, it's a clock from the City Hall. Okay. Very interesting. Now, is that patina from time, or is that damage from the explosion? That's a good question. Now take note of the time. 9:12. The Grand Camp explosion time is when that stopped. Over here around the corner, we have a time capsule, the Valero time capsule. And for the 150th anniversary, they're going to open this up in 2058. It's the 150. It'd be the 150th anniversary of the Valero Texas City refinery. That's the states right there. Here's some more pictures. They don't have any descriptions of on the pictures. They just show stuff here. Some sailing vessels there. Looks like maybe fishing boats or something like that. A 1965 Chamber of Commerce brochure. Interesting. Parks and Recreation Play Lot number 4. I don't remember seeing those signs in my times of running around here in town, but it doesn't mean they're not there. I could have missed them. You got some explanations going on here of what's going on. A rec center in 1860. Texas City Dike was annexed. (1701) 9th Avenue North is a public library dedicated a new library building. College of the Mainland opened at the Booker T. Washington School. September 11th, 1961. September 11th. 50 years later, imagine that we would have what we had in 9/11, 2001. And here, 50 years earlier to the day, they had to deal with Hurricane Carla. And then we got like a 3D board, picture in picture, some modern stuff in the background with the old stuff in the foreground. Changing pictures. I'm not going to focus too much on that because of the fact that it's not the way we want to go. We want to go this way. We get the revitalization and beautification of Texas City. Well, that's still for you so you can read it. Now let's have a look at the pictures. Naturally. So, 1984 was Major Lowry, AIM Corps Manager Dave Coolidge, and Texas City Terminal President Bill Wimberly. They are returning the first shovels for dirt for Texas City's new dry bulk facility operation. The company is now called Oxbow. Fishing tournament, Mainland Medical Center. The crude oil. Shrimping boats, the engineer's cottage, one of the 4 restored homes. Mall of the Mainland. And a community family center. Things that they did for the revitalization and beautification of Texas City. The Nestler Center. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on here, trying to revitalize the area. Mayor Doyle and Bill Bobbington of the Texas Department of Highways conduct a ceremony for the Trails 1 dedication. I'll have to find those and do those trails and film those for you. Every day I'm down here, I'm finding out something new. And it's very exciting for me. There's a nice review of the refineries. A lot of good stuff here about the town. Carver Center, the Carver Community Center opened. Sadly, Emmett Lowry passed away after 25 years as a mayor. Some of the just some different things that took place. And here's what Texas City Museum looks like today. There's that anchor I told you about. And just, things that they've opened up and started in the last 50 years. Let's go look at some relic stuff, huh? Like this Red Crown gasoline pump top. I'd love to have that. Some oil cans. Motor oil in glass bottles. Interesting, huh? Did the milkman come? No, but the oil man came. Some great advertising signs here. One of these would be great to have as wall hangings in a collection. It'd be great for a man cave or woman cave for for women who are interested in this stuff too, because there's plenty of women interested in this stuff. We can't leave the ladies out. Very cool. And I remember that. I'm aging myself. Texas City Refining Company was the first refinery in Texas City. Pierce Petroleum Refinery closed in 1929. Republic Oil Refinery was built in 1931. The Monsanto Chemical Company begins operations in 1940. Carbide and Carbon Chemicals Company, later Union Carbide, and now Dow Chemical Company. Pan American Refinery became part of American Oil. Standard Oil Company, Indiana's later Amoco Corporation, Texas City Chemical Plant was built. And it just kept growing and growing and growing and growing. There's a lot to read here. We'll go panel by panel. I'll go as slow as I can. I'm not going to read it for you, but I'll go slow for panning it down. Now go to panel number 2. And here it shows different progress pictures of how everybody was opening up in the refinery area. There's just so many different pictures of different things, different time frames. Just give a quick overview for you. And it does appear as if some of the pictures are in fact repeated in different areas. Here's just some of the items that were found from different gas stations around the area. Patches, cans, a first aid kit, button. Amazing. Here's some more pictures of the wreck, some artifacts. The Twine was featured on Travel Channel's Mysteries of the Museum series, Texas City, with Jamie Clark. Interesting. Go around the pole here. You can see some of the devastation, the smoke billowing from the fires. Just devastation. We'll come around this side and have a look and see what they have here. Piece of the Wilson B. Keene. That's a piece of a ship that survived. That has the name of the ship on it, the Wilson B. Keene. It's one of the ships that exploded on the day of the Texas City disaster. American Red Cross flag from 1947. This is a hard hat. What's left of a hard hat. And these are pieces from the ship. Ungodly. I think we need to go over to the other side. I think we might watch this one together, folks. This ought to be an interesting little video.
After the war, Texas City's population grew from 5 to 18,000,
I have to stop.
due primarily to the expansion of big industry.
Here's an example of some of the signs that they have here. You got Union Pacific, the Great Northern Railway, MKT, Missouri, Kansas, Texas Lines, Southern Line Pacific, Rock Island, Santa Fe, Kansas City Southern de Mexico, Texas and Eastern Railroad, and the Houston, Texas Central Railroad. Very cool. It's nice to see all these signs like this. Okay, so this was a tour of the Texas City Museum in Texas City, Texas. It's a real fun location, and I'm going to have to come back on a Saturday so that I can see the railroad displays that go on that are under lock and key right now because it's only a weekend thing. I believe they only do it on Saturdays, but we'll try to get back here on a Saturday so I can see that. It's $7 to get in for adults. It's definitely worth the money, worth every penny. Wonderful museum, and I'm glad to have done this tour. I'm glad to have shared it with you. It's not perfect. I do the best I can with what I have and with how I'm doing, but I wanted to share this with you guys. I wanted to bring you along. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll talk to you again soon.